What's up guys, welcome to a new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. Today we are continuing with the RPG series and the climbing system. So in the last episode, we set up the surface attachment and climbing movement. In this episode, we'll be setting up the climbing animations. It's gonna be a very easy video to follow, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is to get the climbing animations. So what we're going to do is go into characters folder, go into the RPG character, animations, and on here create a new folder which will be the climbing. So I have left this link in the description with all the animations that we need, so you just need to download it, unzip it, and drag it in like all the animations until now in the RPG series. They're basically just mix some animations that I retargeted into the Unreal Engine 5 skeleton. Basically I will basically save you time, okay? I'm doing a favor here. So what I can do is just select all of them, so from climb down, idle, left, right, and up, and just drag them into the content browser in here. And then what we can do is make sure to press this button to reset everything to default, just in case we have, put something when we press something and, it's different. So just press reset to default. Now on the skeleton, we're gonna go ahead and select the SK mannequin. Remember, not the SK mannequin skeleton or other one. It's gonna be the pure one that says SK mannequin, okay? The one for Unreal Engine 5. With that said, we don't really have to touch anything more, okay? So we can just go down and say import all. And with that, all the animations will be importing for us. So let's just go ahead and wait a second. There we go. And now you see that we have the animations here. So if I were to put, for example, climbing idle, you will see in here we have the shield and everything. If I were to put climbing right, for example, you can see it here in movement. You can see also climbing up and so on. So everything is working. So we can just hold Control Shift S to save everything, and everything is saved. So cool. All right. So the first thing that we will need to do is to set up our climbing blend space. This will allow us to transition between different animations from climbing idle, up, left, down, and so on, depending on if we're going up or down, left or right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is right click, there we go, right click, go into animation, and then this time we're going to be making a full blend space, okay, not 1D. We're going to be using two axes, so it's going to be the pure one that just says blend space. In this case, again, select the SK mannequin skeleton, and this will be the climbing blend space. And with that, we can just go ahead and open this up. So let's go into the asset details and go into the both axis settings. The first one in the horizontal axis will basically just be climb, left and right, okay? So the horizontal one will be left or right. And then the minimal axis will be basically minus 100, and the maximum will stay at 100. I'm also gonna go ahead and turn on snap to grid, so it'll be easier to put the animations in place. And also in smoothing time, let's set it to something as 0.2, so it will be way smoother. Now in vertical axis, gonna do pretty much the same, but this time, climb, up and down. With that said, again, the same as the other one. Minimum axis 100, maximum will stay as 100, then snap to grid on, and then smoothing time 0.2, so it will be way smoother. Alright, so now we can start dragging on our animations. So let's go into the asset browser. If you don't see this, you can just go to window and then go into asset browser. And then let's go ahead and search for climb, and then you see all the ones over here. So let's start with the idle one. Just go ahead and drag it, and it will be perfectly in the 0, 0, okay, in the center. So basically, we're not moving. Let's go into climbing up and just place it on top of it in the center. Let's do the same with down, but in the opposite point. And let's go into right and put it in the right here, and then left in the left here. And now you can see that while I hold Control and move the cursor around, you can see the animations transitioning. If I step a bit apart, there we go, you can see it working. There we go. Great. So with that said, we can now go ahead and save, and actually we have our blend space ready. We don't have to do anything more. So let's go ahead and close it. And now what we have to do is open our animation blueprint. So let's go back into the RPG character folder, animations, and let's open our ABP RPG character. Let's go ahead and double click, and there we go. As you may know, this is our animation blueprint. So what we're going to do is go into the main state over here, which is where we have all these states. So basically unarmed locomotion, crouch locomotion, land, etc. So what we're going to do is basically set up a new state. So just right click, go to add state, and then this will be basically climbing. And with that said, we can just go ahead and get an arrow, draw it into climbing, and then from climbing back into the normal locomotion. So what we have to do is set up a new boolean, which is going to be is climbing or not. So just press here, add variable, and then is climbing. Just press enter and make sure this is a boolean. With that said, we can go from unarmed locomotion to climbing. So basically the arrow here in the right, the one that has the tip pointing into the climbing, double click and just drag is climbing on here, and that's it. Let's go back and let's go into the is climbing to unarmed locomotion with the arrow facing upwards. Let's double click here, and I'm gonna go and get climbing and then make a not boolean, and basically if it's not climbing, as we already have done with all of other states. Okay, this is recap. So now we can just compile and save, and everything will be set up. But of course, we have some things still left to do. We have to go into the climbing state itself and drag in our blend space. So let's go ahead and search climbing blend space, drag it in, and then let's put it into here, ping it, and then we need to assign these values. So let's go ahead and just right click and promote this into a variable, and then right click and promote this to a variable. So basically we'll have the variables as climb left and climb right, and then climb up and climb down. So everything will be set up for us. So now we just need to go into the event graph and of course set up these values. Okay, so what we need to do is go basically in here. We have already the update animation. We set up the speed, velocity, if it's falling, if it's crouched, and so on, if it's leaning, all this kind of stuff. Okay, right now we're gonna go just into the end over here and basically get our where is it our character, which is here. So let's get our character, just get it, and then what to do is go here and we basically have to get a reference of the climb left, right, up and down from the blueprint. So basically we have to create these two variables also in our blueprint, which of course need to be assigned. So let's go back into here, let's go into the content, third person blueprints, third person character blueprint, and now we have the climbing and stuff here, but we don't want to go here. What we want to do is go up here into the movement input that we set up in the last episode too. As remember, here we set up our climb movement. Basically what we want to do is create two new variables. So let's create the first one, and this will be pretty much the same stuff. So basically in this case, climb up and down, and this will basically be a float. Now let's go ahead and select this and Control D to duplicate it, and this will instead be climb right and left, and again this will be a float. So now it's as simple as going into the climb movement. In this case this is the right vector, so let's make some space and get the right and left. Okay, because this is right vector, just plug it in and then connect it into here, and then the same on here, and in this case it will be up and down. Okay, because of the up vector, so it will be up and down. And what I have to do here is basically just double click on here to make a pin. Okay, and now just connect it into the right and left, and the same on here, just right click to make a pin. There we go, and then connect it into the climb and down. Or of course you can just put it from here, but if we make pins, it's just a bit more organized. I'm just gonna extend this, and that's it. So now everything is done in the character blueprint, so we can go back into the animation blueprint and just get these values. So in this case, let's begin with get left and right. So there we go, we're getting the value from the blueprint that's being set up as we climb. And now here, let's get it. So set one in here in the animation blueprint. And basically the thing is that we have to multiply this by 100. And probably wondering why. Well, as you may remember, our animation blueprint, not the blend space. If I go real quick back here into climbing, animation blend space, there we go. We have from -100 to 100, and the third person character access value only goes from -1 to 1. So basically we just have to multiply by 100 so we can use it in our blank space. As simple as that. So we can just close this both, go here, multiply by 100 and set it. And now let's copy and actually just copy this. So there's two nodes, paste it, and then just get this time the up and down. So get climb up and down, and now just plug that there, and then we can just get the up and down on here in the blueprint, animation blueprint. Just drag it, set it, and drag it here. So now we are basically going ahead and setting those values. Now we have one more thing left to do in order to make this work, and it's basically set up the is climbing boolean, because if not, it will never transition into our climbing state on here, because of course the boolean will not be working. So let's go into the event graph, and what to do is go ahead and copy and paste our character, and then just say get movement component, and basically let's go down, and you will see here get movement component. Actually that's not the one. Get character movement. Where's it? Here, get character movement. That's what I want. Okay, and then just say get mode. So get movement mode, and basically we're gonna make sure that if it is in, let's go into equal of the numerator, and it's set on flying. Basically, if it's set on flying, I'm gonna make a branch over here. And sorry, branch now. We won't even need a branch. We can just directly just go and set is climbing to be whatever is here. So if it's false, it will set to false, but it's true, true. So as you may remember, we're using the flying state to use our climbing. Now remember, do not confuse this, because it actually happened to me yesterday. Experimented with this in prototyping. You set it to don't set it to falling. It's similar. Start with F. Okay, don't make the mistake. Select flying. Okay, make sure. Now with that, we can just comment everything and just press C and say basically climbing. And with that, that should basically be it. So now we can compile and save, go and press play, and you'll see that when I go into my wall and press K to climb, you can see that now we have the climbing animations working. Now you see that a lot of things are happening and everything is extremely buggy. And you can see that also the animations are kept going while I'm not moving. So let's fix one of the things at a time. Let's go into our AVP RPG character, and let's go into the end of our event graph, basically what we just did, and we have to add an extra condition. And it's gonna be a branch over here, and basically we're gonna get the current velocity of our character, which we actually have a variable here. So we can just get the velocity and do a vector length node, so it's basically a nice float, and we are going to check that it is 0. So if this is equal to 0, it means that we are not moving. So in that case, we're gonna set the climb left and right to be 0, and then also the climb up and down to be 0. And this is because when we are not putting any keys, okay, our input from the character is not being refreshed, okay? It's only while we are pressing keys. That's why. So basically, this is a quick fix. So now you'll see that when I start climbing, okay, basically when I stop, the character actually stops. Now you can see another problem, which is that the character is like 50 meters away from the capsule collider, and this is because of the animation. So if I go into climbing idle, you can see on here it is like this, right? The thing is, right now, if I go to my skeleton tree and select the root, you can see where it is right now, okay, in the location. And then what we're going to do is basically just go into the start of the climbing idle, go into the skeleton tree, select the root, and just go into the location, and basically just say let's put it in minus 2.2, which is, it should be the same. So just press the key, and that should fix in theory. No, that's way too high. Let's see the animations that are good. So here, so yes, so everything is like just a bit like up, as you can see. Wait, now it's at the center. Interesting. Okay, I think that the problem are the IK from the fit actually. So let's go into the AVPRP character. It's interesting because that did not happen in my prototyping. Let's go into the main graph, go into the anim graph, and then basically we're gonna add an and condition, and it's gonna be that it is not climbing, so it will not work while we are climbing. And that should be that kind of fit issue be solved. Let's see. Yes, so that's okay. So that was the issue, as you can see. So now the climbing animations should be better in place. But as you can see, we are right now, of course, in idle animation, and let's say that the position is good. But when I go into the left, for example, you can see the character kind of goes up a bit. This is because the pivot point of the animation is different. So what we can do to fix this is just go to climbing idle. As you just remember, I basically set a key point to be the location. Oh, there we go. So yes, so of y at minus 2.2. Basically, we have to see the one at the z right now, because z is height. So it's basically 106. So let's go and do the same for the other animations. So go into climbing left, go and put our keyframe at the start, go into the skeleton tree, select the root, and go and put this left, yes, and put our location to be 106. And you see it's already putting 106. Actually not, it is being bugged, okay, really. So just put 106 on here, and then just press the key. And now when I press play and I go left, yeah, that still is happening. Let me just close an opening. Let's go root. There we go, it was bugged. So make sure, okay guys, make sure to close the animation while you do this. Sorry about that confusion right now. This last part has been a bit confusing, but basically I confused myself because it basically just bugged. So again, select the root, go in here and put 106, and then just press the key button over here. Now you save, close it. Now you see that when I press play and go into the left, now the position is correct in terms of height. So let's do the same with the right. Open this up, and now just pause it, put it in the start, select the root, go and put it here on 106, and now just press the key button, save it, and close it. And that should be good. Now I don't know, we have to do the same with the up and down. So now left and right is good. We need to take it a bit back, okay, as you can see from the wall, but we're getting in there. Now up and down is, that's good, I believe. I mean, we can tune it in as we want. So if we go and open up and go into root, we can basically use, yeah, that's good. Okay, that's good. Anyway, so right now in the idle animation, let's see if the front wall is good. So you can see it's pretty much perfect, okay, but from the left and right it is going into the wall. So that is basically going to climbing idle and select the root, and that is basically the y, which is basically around minus 2.2, as you can see. So let's go into the climbing left and right once again. In this case, let's do left, put it at the start once again, select the root, and put the location to be a minus 2.2. And it will be just back, just press the key, save it, and close it. And now just go and open climb right, and do the same, put the key here, root, in, y minus 2.2, key, save, and close. So now you see that it will not go into the wall when I'm going left and right. You can see it's just a bit of the hand, but you know, you can tune in as we go. Okay, for now this is great. But yeah, we have a really cool climbing system with this animations already. Now there's some things that we can still go ahead and tune in, and it's basically a bit of speed. But also I'm seeing that maybe we can that it's a bit apart from the wall when we go up and down. So let's actually fix that. Let's go into climb up. Let's put this here, select root, and now again force it into minus 2.2, and just add a keyframe, close it, and then do climb down and do the same thing. Okay, select the root, minus 2.2, key, and say I just modifying and adding keyframes into the root so it will not be so apart, and that will be perfect for me. Okay, that's good enough. So we can change a bit the speed of the character while climbing. Maybe it doesn't really match the animations. So you have two options: increase the speed of the animations, or change the blueprint animation, right? So sorry, speed. So we can just go ahead and open this, go into the character movement component, just go to fly, and instead of 250 we can maybe put 215. So 215. So let's see if that will work. I mean, that of course, that's yeah, that's much better. I mean, maybe it's too slow for some of you, but for me, that is great. I really like that. Great, so that will basically go ahead and work for us. As you can see, you can literally go ahead and modify the animations as you want, okay? So they will be more into the wall, more into the outside, whatever you want. And like I said, this works with any type of mesh. So as I showed in the intro last episode, I can go start content, go into props, and then let's go ahead and just get the rock and just open this up. And then I could just go and remove the collision, okay, in here, remove collision, then go down and set the collision complexity to be use complex, collision as simple. You set up and save. Now when I drag this in and make it big and drag it like this, and I press play, okay, I'm inside the I'm inside of it. Now if I press K in here, you can see that I can literally go ahead and climb the rock. And honestly, look at the amount of, I don't know how we could call it, but basically is variety in the mesh, and how honestly good the climbing system adapts into it. Like, this is a really complex mesh to climb, okay? So really you can climb whatever you want, literally whatever you freaking want, okay? Of course, like this rock, it might be a bit complex sometimes, but you get the idea. And I can climb into the top. So that's it, guys. If you found this so helpful, I would really appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to my channel. There are lots of Unreal Engine 5 tutorials, so go ahead and check them out. Join my Discord server and follow me on my socials. So in the next episode, we'll be probably setting up the I think it's called the ledge like vaulting or whatever it's called. So basically when we get into the top, it will not just fall, okay? It will climb up on top of it, so it can actually finalize its climbing. But that's it, guys. Like and subscribe, and bye bye.